Can't buy me love, love, can't buy me love.
The Fifth Beatle is the forthcoming graphic novel by Vivek Tiwari, which details the story of Brian Epstein, the famous manager of the Beatles. The name comes from Paul McCartney's quote that Brian was the fifth Beatle, and also admission by John Lennon that when Epstein died in 1967, the band was finished as a business entity. The author Tiwari is a Broadway producer, with his last effort being A Raisin in the Sun. He also may be the foremost expert on the late Beatles manager. He said that he studied Epstein in school as a businessman first, but then he discovered the man's human element, which compelled him to write the story.
It was the human side of his story, which I had known nothing about, that really resonated for me. Brian was gay and Jewish and from Liverpool at a time when that really was three strikes against you. In the 1960s, the Oscar Wilde laws were in place, so it was a felony to be gay. There was still quite a bit of anti-Semitism in the UK, and Liverpool was not much more than a dingy port town. So Brian really was the ultimate outsider. So in a lot of ways I could really relate to that. While I've not had the obstacles and the difficulty that Brian had, as a first-generation American, my family's from Guyana, South America, by way of India, I too sort of feel like an outsider trying to make my way in this entertainment business. With the exception of Bollywood, which is a very specific arm of the entertainment industry, you don't see a lot of people of Indian origin doing what I'm doing. So in a lot of ways I could relate to Brian's struggles. So Brian's somebody whose story I've been inspired by for literally 20 years.
We asked Tiwari what Beatle fans will get out of the graphic novel.
Beatles fans will be very excited to finally have a book, whether it's graphic or otherwise. It's just a great book that tells the Brian Epstein story, that gives you his background, how he grew up, why he loved the Beatles, what he initially saw in them, why he was crazy enough to say in 1960 that they were going to be bigger than Elvis. I just think the Beatles fans will be very excited to learn things about Brian that they never knew. The book does dramatize the famous weekend that John and Brian spent in Spain together, and that's a juicy one. People always ask about that. I'm not going to give away how we treat it, but that's in the book. And the book, goes all the way to his death, and that was also a night that is shrouded in mystery. Again, I won't reveal too much right now, but that's also a scene that I think Beatles fans will be curious to read.
The Fifth Beatle will be made into a film, and Tiwari said they've already obtained music rights from the band and its publishing arm for use in creation of the movie.
We've signed a deal with Sony ATV, who control the Lennon-McCartney music publishing catalog, and so we have the ability to put Beatles music into our film. We are literally the first biopic in history to have secured rights to Beatles music. So we're very, very proud of that. Through the process of the music rights, we obviously had to make the band aware of what we're doing, and we do have their goodwill. It's not an official Beatles project, but it's not a mystery that in order to get music rights, you have to go through the band as well. And one of the very first things I did when I came up with the story was I flew to Liverpool to meet with the estate of Brian Epstein, who's also been incredibly supportive.
The Fifth Beatle is slated for release in 2013, available through Dark Horse Comics, which also houses titles from Slipknot and Stone Sour's Corey Taylor, Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine, and Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. Fans can meet Tiwari and illustrator Andrew Robinson at New York Comic Con, where they will be signing artwork from the book today, October 12th, at the Dark Horse Comics booth at 5 p.m.
Do you